Thank you for coming back for part two. Where do good dogs come from? This is Linda Kane from Lionheart K9, coming to you live from the Battle Axe Center for Angry Old Fat Broads. Okay, so where do good dogs come from? Since we've already discussed some of the things that each type of producer has established themselves as, now it's time to turn to the topic of the dogs. Most importantly, health and behavioral soundness and how to leverage your choices based on the producer you select your candidate from. Remember, this is strictly about selecting dogs from people that deliberately produce dogs for sale. Pet stores, shelters, and rescues are all topics for part three. Defining what makes good temperament is as exclusive to the breed you're looking at as it is to the type of lifestyle you will be expecting this dog to adapt to. A Doberman with a correct temperament is vastly different than a Golden Retriever with correct temperament. Each breed has its own standard for temperament, which is what makes this such a difficult concept to convey. A Doberman is not a Golden Retriever, nor should it be expected to perform like one. A Doberman Golden Retriever cross, and yes, I have seen them, is a nightmare of both the best and the worst of both breeds in a contradictory pile of heart disease and cancer bonds. Neither breed benefits from the union, and the hapless owner is battling opposing personality types that make it difficult to reconcile. And that's an important distinction. Those opposing personality types. Behaviorally, all dogs possess some basic temperamental similarities. They share all the essential drives of the apex predator class in different degrees. Humans have exploited those drives in developing dogs for a variety of tasks like hunting, guarding, and herding. Every dog shares these drives to some degree. Within those drives are features that will determine if that dog will be a successful candidate for that job. Sporting breeds are designed to work closely with humans in the acquisition of game. Hounds are designed to be considerably more independent of humans, acting independently and pursuing game over longer stretches of territory, either killing the game in advance of the human's arrival, holding it at bay until the human appears. Hounds generally are not required to demonstrate the same type of cooperation with humans as sporting dogs. Livestock guardian breeds are designed to function without a lot of human involvement. They are imprinted on livestock that they protect throughout their lives, largely independent of humans for anything other than nourishment and occasional medical treatment after encounters with dangerous wildlife like mountain lions or coyotes. Other breeds of working dogs were developed for their courage and lack of fear in the face of great adversity, like combat against humans as well as large, dangerous prey, like the old world Molossus breeds, Cane Corso, Neapolitan Mastiff, Bullenbeissers, and others. A lot of the breeds that comprise the working group are descendants of these dogs. There are dogs that fit every lifestyle, but there are many dogs that are unsuitable as household pets based on the behavioral characteristics they were primarily bred for. Generations of breeding may have dampened a dog's desire to hunt, defend, or herd, but it hasn't erased those drives completely. That short-haired pointer may have been a dud in the bird field, but that hasn't stopped him from ripping up your apartment on the 17th floor of the complex you live in. That Dogo Argentino may look pretty badass, but remember, he or she was bred specifically to push through adversity either on a trail of large, dangerous game or the battlefield where humans were the target. Is that a liability you're willing to assume? When you make the selection of a purebred dog for your home and your lifestyle, a large part of that decision needs to be how to accommodate that behavioral drift towards the genetic predisposition every breed was selectively bred for. It must also include the decision of the producer you choose to purchase your dog from, their history of producing the type of dog you're looking for, their health and temperament assurances, and their support of your decision to purchase from them. It must extend past the check clearing your bank. I cannot express this enough. If you wish for a nice companion to while away the days on leisurely walks around the urban area in which you reside, look for a breed and a bloodline within that breed that was designed specifically to be a companion. Buying a Jack Russell Terrier from a kennel that breeds dogs to go to ground and expecting it to live a lifestyle in the city is a cruelty. I hope humans will never have to experience that. That field-bred Labrador Retriever is a hard-charging asshole for a reason. He's a working dog. There's nothing that's going to make him a quiet fireside companion. If you want a potato of a dog that looks good on your hearth, there are people that produce those types of dogs. You'll still have to endure puppyhood and adolescence, but if you look for the type of dog that fits your lifestyle, you're assured a higher rate of success than just buying the first thing that you can see or afford. Actions have consequences. The dog you select is going to demonstrate who he is genetically almost immediately, whether you plan for that or not. So here's the thing. The dog you fell in love with when you were a kid may exist, but not in that form and not without effort. Selecting carefully should help with that process. The cool thing about selecting a dog in the 21st century is there are so many different tiers of dog acquisition to choose from. Each may represent your personal ideal, but each will also present issues that you may not have thought of. Here's another thing. Be prepared to be declined as a candidate for a home. You have to prove your worth too. Some of these producers are very strict on where their placements go, and for good reasons. There is nothing wrong with playing the waiting game, but if you are the impatient type, don't get pissed off at the breeder for telling you no. Find out what excluded you and either make the requisite accommodation or move on to a different source. It's easy to get a dog from anywhere else, but the very best producers are as demanding of your candidacy as you are of theirs, because the dogs they produce are highly sought after. The subsequent list is in no particular order of preference. I have owned and bred dogs from both conformation and performance bloodlines. If I were a person looking for a nice, biddable, purebred pet, I would honestly be looking at the dogs produced by show kennels. Their temperaments are a lot more vanilla because of the lifestyle they need to accommodate as a top show dog. They're easy keepers, they're good travelers, they're accommodating of strangers, they're accommodating of new environments, etc. The pup you buy may not finish championship, but he'll be easier to live with over his performance-bred counterparts, believe me. Show dog breeders, their looks or the looks are the most important thing to them generally. Top level show breeders aren't going to sell you their very best dogs, but you have an opportunity to get a dog that has been health tested, has decent temperament, and is likely to be relatively sound based on a genetic legacy of ancestors that are completed successfully at the top of the conformation game. Not everyone's cup of tea, they have their own issues, but dogs from these producers tend to have decent personalities because calm temperaments are easier to keep in show condition, easier to keep in general, and easier to show. The demands of the conformation ring are not the same as the demands for a hunting dog or a bite sport dog. Pure breeds tend to have a variety of genetic issues, and the smaller the population of dogs within that breed, the more inclined they are for debilitating genetic issues. Generally, your top tier breeders are not producing very many litters each year. Expect to be put on a wait list if you pass their rigorous screening. The best bet of finding a decent breeder is to go to dog events and look for dogs you might like. The catalog tells you who the owner and breeders are, and generally will list an address. A Google search is a great way to locate their kennel and look up their performance accomplishments, breeding stock, testing, etc. Be prepared to pay real money. Good dogs aren't cheap. The pet quality puppy from a show breeder doesn't mean the dog is ugly, less valuable, whatever belief folks ascribe to. It means that the puppy would not be competitive in the venue that the producer competes in. That's it. It may be a mismark, not standard size or color, be slightly under or overshot, etc. It still has undergone the same rigorous testing as its litter mates and has a better chance of a long and healthy life than a random bred dog from a puppy mill. Performance dog kennels are a lot like show dog kennels, in some ways even harder, but the better ones want to be assured that their dogs are going into performance homes. If you are not able to provide a suitable outlet for your performance bred dog, be prepared for the problems that you will encounter throughout the dog's life. Performance dog producers will have dogs that are exceptional at a variety of different levels of performance, and even though that one candidate may not make that fire-breathing field trial competitor, doesn't mean he won't make a great hunt test dog or even a weekend hunting companion. Still, they will all need emotional behavioral outlets for their genetic predispositions. Be prepared to put on a wait list and to spend some money. These dogs don't come cheap. Good dog producers test their dogs before they breed them, and they test the litters after they hit the ground for health and temperament. Great dog producers may also engage in third-party testing of the litters to help ascertain their suitability for the homes they're going to be placed in. When you make inquiries, ask about that testing as well. You'll hear names like Abidog and Volhard. Ask about early neural imprinting. Some folks scoff at it, but personally, I wouldn't consider a breeder that did not do it. Randomly bred purebreds have neither the health tested nor performance measured. You get what you pay for. Not that great dogs haven't come from that tier, but they are few and far between. Expect to pay one way or another. Inconsistent temperament plague this tier. simply because the selection of breeding pairs is so random. They are produced for money, not looks or performance or health or temperament. When you look at a pedigree, if there is one, and there are no titles fore or aft, it's likely that this product is from a long line of randomly bred dogs whose sole purpose is to bolster someone's income stream. Deliberate crossbred dogs do not have paper, nor legitimate paper. Anyways, if their producers are brazen enough to supply you with some, I assure you, if it's not an outright forgery, it is a meaningless document since there is currently no registry that will accept it. In part 3, we will cover acquiring a dog from a shelter or rescue and how to plan for success and avoid catastrophe. There's a lot of hidden meaning in the stuff I've covered here, which is why I will be supplying the transcripts to my sponsors on Buy Me a Coffee. See you in a couple days.